everyone. Top of the hour. I'm Poppy Harlow in today for Brooke Baldwin. We begin with breaking news in the partisan battle to replace the late Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia. Despite Republican leadership promising they will not consider anyone the president puts forth, CNN now just getting word that the White House is vetting a Republican to potentially fill the vacant seat. His name, Brian Sandoval. He is the Republican governor of Nevada. Let's talk about it with the man who broke the news, CNN senior political reporter Manu Raju. Also with us for analysis, Paul Callan will be with us in a moment, and constitutional attorney Paige Pate. Thank you all for being here. Manu, you know, it's interesting. This comes at an interesting time, a day when the gloves came off in the fight. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says there will be not even a hearing. He won't even meet with any nominee until the next president takes office. How did this happen?
You know, Sandoval is a former federal judge. He's someone who's very popular in his home state of Nevada. He had been viewed as a possible Supreme Court choice for a while, but it's unclear how seriously he is being considered. He did stop by Harry Reid's office, the Senate Minority Leader, a Nevada Democrat, on Monday, and the two actually discussed the issue of being vetted. That was part of their discussion, and I had a chance to talk to Harry Reid about Brian Sandoval just a little while ago, and he had some positive things to say about the prospects of Sandoval to the Supreme Court.
Speaking with Brian, you met with Brian Sandoval. He's been mentioned as a possible Supreme Court justice. Do you think that he should be a good Supreme Court justice?
Well, I don't pick the justices, but I know if he were picked, I would support the man. He's a good person. He has a great record, and he has been a tremendously good governor in spite of having to deal with some very big problems there.
So do you advise the White House to pick a moderate Republican who could divide the Republican Party, or pick a progressive that could fire up the liberal base?
I've talked to the president. I've talked to his chief of staff many times. I talked to his political guy today, and he should pick who he thinks is the best.
Now, Reid says that the president is actually going to make a decision soon. We don't actually know when that's going to happen, but clearly Sandoval is one person they're thinking about. It's an interesting choice if he does go this route. It would divide Republicans, but what would it do to the Democratic base, given that he's a moderate Republican and not a progressive? Poppy, one other thing, I just talked to Republican senators about this, and they're not even willing to consider him. Deb Fischer of Nebraska told me it's not about the person, it's just about the fact that it's about the president and the voters having a choice this November.
All right, so a few things that I find interesting about this, this pick, if this is indeed the pick. We certainly don't know, and let's remember, Josh Earnest said this week that there is no shortlist yet, right? They're just going through them. But this is someone who was unanimously confirmed by the Senate after being brought up by former President George W. Bush. 2005, he's unanimously confirmed by the Senate for a district court judgeship, which shows just sort of support on both sides. This is also someone, right, who is pro-choice, but opposed to late-term abortion, Manu. One of the biggest, cases that is about to be heard in front of the High Court.
Yeah, and that's what's going to be challenging for him going forward. His support for abortion rights. Actually, Sandoval had long been viewed as a possible vice presidential pick for the Republican Party, but because of his support for abortion rights, that made him put him in a difficult spot. But that really shows the challenge for the White House here in picking someone like this, someone who has views that could anger both sides, someone who may oppose late-term abortion but supports abortion rights. What will that do for the Democratic base? Because at the end of the day, if this nominee is not going to be confirmed, and it sounds like Republicans are saying they won't even consider Brian Sandoval if he were the nominee, what will that do for the elections? And if it does not intend to bring out the Democratic base, maybe it's not the right choice for the White House.
Right, and what does it do in the down ticket races, right, for senators if they're not even willing to meet with someone who's a Republican being nominated? Paige, to you. Manu, stay with me. Paige, to you. You're a constitutional lawyer. I want your read on this one, what you make of it, if it is the case, if he does become the nominee, why the president wouldn't try to float a name that leans more to the left. What do you think?
Well, I think it's going to be virtually impossible for any truly progressive nominee to get past the Senate. I think that's clear. So I think the White House has made a good decision here, if they do make this decision, and put Governor Sandoval's name forward, because it really forces the hand of the GOP folks in the Senate. I mean, if they have unanimously confirmed this individual before for a federal judicial position, and they have, what is their objection to his qualifications at this point, or is it purely political? Obviously, the Supreme Court is a higher court than a district court, so it's an important selection, and you want to take time to both vet him and review it from the Senate side. But to out of hand reject the idea of even considering and confirming a nominee, it's really disturbing, especially to lawyers who practice before the court, who know that coming up this term we have several hot button issues and we need a full court because some of these cases are going to be 4-4 split and you need that ninth vote. So I think it's a good idea.
Right, and let's remember, when it is a 4-4 split in the situation we're in now, the lower court's ruling is what stands, putting certainly a lot of pressure on the lower court.
Right.
And obviously you need a full bench. We do have our Paul Callan, who is here with me, and I just want to have him weigh in as well on this pick. You know that we were on the air when the news broke that Antonin Scalia had died, and you were with me, and there were a bunch of names being floated. Sri Srinivasan, also unanimously confirmed. This is the first I'm hearing of this name, Brian Sandoval.
It's also the first I'm hearing of the name Brian Sandoval, and it's sort of a classic idea to go for someone with a political background. You know, many governors have served on the Supreme Court. As a matter of fact, even a president of the United States was once subsequently named as a Supreme Court justice. But by going with an elected political figure, you have the possibility here of someone who maybe would have broader support than an unknown judge who might be a great scholar but unknown to the public. And remember, in the end, this is going to be a battle between the executive and the Congress, and public pressure to support the nominee will be the most important thing. So I'm not surprised that he's gone with what will be described undoubtedly as a moderate governor to be appointed to the seat.
And Manu, to you, just your take on, we haven't heard from McConnell yet, right? His reaction, just wondering if this changes what he said even today about not even meeting with someone who's nominated.
Absolutely not. Republicans came out of this lunch. They just had a lunch. They talked about this issue. And I'm told that they are dead set against any nominee, including if it's Brian Sandoval, a Republican governor. So this will not change Mitch McConnell's calculation. No Supreme Court nominee will be confirmed this year if he's majority leader. And he's willing to go as far as potentially a very bad story, bad optics, if Brian Sandoval is the choice, comes up here and tries to meet with senators and he doesn't meet with them. That's not going to look very good for him. But who knows? This could eventually all be a trial balloon. Maybe the White House goes in a different direction, but for right now, it's an interesting prospect and something that they're at least considering.
Absolutely right. Manu Raju all over the news, breaking it for us this hour. Thank you. Paul Callan, Pate, thank you all. Stay with us. Much more on this a little bit later this hour. I do want to go to politics now, though.